大家起立恭敬合掌。顶礼坛城，做观想大礼拜。一拜是一切诸佛嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。二拜诸菩萨嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。三拜诸护法金刚嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。四平等于其手，请主持人敬献哈达，以表最。
We just welcome our lineage root guru, the founder of True Buddha School, His Holiness Living Buddha Liansheng, entering into the Homa Hall. Now we would like to invite the primary supplicants for this Homa, the White Lotus King Homa ceremony, to come forward and present the offering of Hatha to the lineage root guru as a symbol of the highest honor. Huh?
们以热烈的掌声感谢师尊的赐福。恭请圣尊加持摊位佛具供品。
Inviting His Holiness to bless the offering items for Homa.
让我们以热烈的掌声感谢师尊的加持。恭请圣尊升护摩法座。
Thank you to His Holiness for your blessings. And now we would like to invite you to please take the Homa seat. And now we would like to invite Simu, all the masters, reference, and all participants to please take the seats. Ah, 糟糕！
恭请圣尊加持主题的报名小
怎么只拿两页？做的半死，居然没有 copy， 没有 print out， 气死我了！
没有编号在这里。
First, let's give a round of applause to show our utmost gratitude to His Holiness for presiding over this White Lotus King Homa fire offering ceremony. And we would also like to welcome Simu, all participating masters, reference, and fellow disciples from all over the world. Thank you for coming and for your support in this ceremony. The White Lotus King Homa fire offering ceremony has now begun. Clap twice and snap your fingers as a wake-up call. Visualize through Buddha lineage, Namo Vairocana Buddha, Namo Buddha Lokana, Namo Amitabha, Namo Padma Kumara, Namo Living Buddha Liansheng. Visualize Grandmaster and all Buddhas Bodhisattvas radiating light to bless us. Recite the Root Guru mantra 7 times.
Om Guru Lian Sheng Siddhi Hom. 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 Om 不得连生习地吽。念清净咒及安
Recite purification mantras and the earth deity mantra.
修利玛哈修利修修利手哈。唵修多利修多利修摩利修摩利手哈。唵哇遮那当呵呵吽。南无萨满多摩德兰。唵嘟噜嘟噜得为手哈。连招醒咒。
Recite invocation mantra.
啊吽手哈。唵啊吽手哈。唵啊吽手哈。众弟子一心
We sincerely
那么
invoke
根本传承
our
上
lineage
师
root
大
Guru,
白
the
莲
Maha
花种
White
子
Padma
圣
Kumara,
真言
His
生
Holiness
活
Living
佛
Buddha Lian
那
Shan.
么根本
Our
传
lineage
承
root
上
Guru,
师
the
大
Maha
白
White
莲
Padma
花种
Kumara, His
子圣
Holiness
真
Living
言
Buddha
生
Lian
活
Shan.
佛那么
Our
根本
lineage
传
root
承
Guru,
上
the
师
Maha
大白
White
莲
Padma
花种
Kumara,
子
His
圣
Holiness
真
Living
言
Buddha
生
Lian
活
Shan.
佛一心祈请护
We
摩成
sincerely
真
invoke the
那
main
么
deity
白
of
莲
Homa
花
today,
王
the
一
White
心
Lotus
祈请
King.
护摩
The
成
main
真
deity of
那么
Homa
白
today, the
莲
White
花王
Lotus
一
King.
心祈
The
请
main
护
deity
摩
of
成
Homa
真
today,
那
the
么
White
白莲
Lotus
花
King.
王一心奉请
We
大威
sincerely
德金刚
invoke
不动
Namo
如王
Yamantaka,
四
Namo
大天王
Akalanata, the
那
four
么无
heavenly
量
kings,
十七菩
Golden
萨
Mother
天
of the
尊
primordial
生
Jit
马菩
Pond,
萨
Sima
彩虹雷藏
Bodhisattva,
寺诸佛菩
Rainbow
萨
temples,
彩
all
虹雷藏
Buddhas,
寺金刚
Bodhisattvas,
护王殿
Herukas,
金刚护
Dhammapalas,
法神
Dakinis,
咒
and
真佛密
divinities,
愿坛
all
城
the
诸佛菩
deities
萨
enshrined at the
西雅图
Tantric
雷
Quarter,
藏寺
at
坛
the
城
Seattle
诸佛
Lezang
菩萨
Temple,
南山两
at
舍
the
坛
abode
城
of
诸
the
佛
Southern
菩萨
Mountain,
真佛文物坛城
and
诸
at
佛
the
菩萨
True Buddha
彩虹
Seattle
雷藏寺
chapter.
山神土地
Rainbow
神
temples,
苗
mountain
家
god,
神
earth
风
god,
神
plant
水
god,
神
wind
火
god,
天
water
神
god,
龙
heavenly
神
fire god,
十八
dragon
风
god,
景护法神
and
咒
city god,
文
and
王
all
祭祖
divinities
放
to
光
bless,
加持
descend,
四
and
次护
bless
摩
this Homa.
做观想大礼拜
Create
礼
Homa
拜
choosing
根本
visualization
传承
first
上
to
师
the Guru
十
and
方
all
三世解
Buddhas.
佛唵啊吽观想
Visualize for prostration
为
on the
天心
ground.
散言
Release the
二
mudra.
拜
Second to
诸
all
菩萨
Bodhisattvas.
唵啊吽观想
Visualize for prostration on
为
the
天
ground.
心
Release
散
the
言
mudra.
三拜
Third
诸
to all
佛
Herukas
金
and
刚
Dhamma
唵
protectors.
啊吽观想
Visualize for prostration on the ground.
为天
Release
心
the
散
mudra.
言四
Fourth half bow.
大曼达供养
Great
手
mandala
结供
offering.
养手
Form
结
the offering
观
mudra.
想
Visualize
坛城前的供品变化无
all
量
the
无边
offerings
布
on the
满
altar
虚空宇宙
to transform, to become
上
innumerable
供
and
根
fill
本
the
传
whole
承上
universe.
师
Make the offering
礼
above
拜
with the
传
lineage
承
root
祖
Guru,
师
all the
十尊
lineage
百莲
gurus,
花
the main
王
deity of
十
Homa,
方
the
三
White
世
Lotus
解
King,
佛
and
一
all
切菩萨
Buddhas and
摩诃萨
Bodhisattvas.
中共护法龙天空行
In the middle to
下
all
施六道
divinities and
众
protectors
生
and below to all
愿
sentient
供
beings.
养赞供养
Recite the
咒
offering verse and
须弥
mantra.
四
Mount
周
Meru,
碧
four
日月
continents and
化
sun and
作
moon
珍宝
transform
供
into
养
precious
佛
offerings for the
种种
Buddhas.
珍
Make
奇
these
诸
wondrous
功
treasures
德
and
消
merits
业
purge
诸
our
恶
karma to
正
allow us
法
civilization.
唵萨瓦达哈嘎达伊达姆咕噜啦啦面扎拉康里列达耶米做四皈依观想
Fourfold
观想
refuge,
根本传承
visualize
上师历代
our
传
lineage
承
root
祖
Guru,
师
all the
一
lineage
切诸
gurus,
佛
Buddha
法
jewel,
宝
Dhamma
珍
jewel,
宝
and
结
Sangha
合起
jewel
来成为大白光
to
给
form
自
great
己
white
观
light to empower
念
us.
四
Recite
音
the
咒
mantra.
南无咕噜贝南无布达耶南无达摩耶南无僧伽耶南无咕噜贝南无布达耶南无达摩耶南无僧伽耶南无咕噜贝南无布达耶南无达摩耶南无僧伽耶做披甲或
Armor
者
protection.
金刚合掌手
Form Vajrapani mudra. Recite Vajrapani mantra 7 times.
Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali, Om Barilanjali.
Inviting His Holiness to perform blessings with mala.
恭请圣尊金刚灵除结界，加持报名表格及贡品。
In His Holiness to set ceremonial demarcation and to bless the prayers, registration forms, and all the offerings with Vajra and scepter. Inviting His Holiness to perform the ritual of opening the fire pit and set ceremonial demarcation around it. Inviting His Holiness to lit the Homa fire, to make all the offerings, and to perform mudra transformations for purifications, enhancements, magnetization, subjugation, and bardo deliverance. The assembly will be reciting the heart mantra of White Lotus King.
加持八大本尊心咒及念佛。
We said the heart mantras of the eight principal deities and incarnate Buddha Amitabha. Merit dedication. May all uphold the Buddha, ascend to the utmost bliss. We paying for jhanas in this world, those in the three realms below. Upon seeing the Buddha, may we transcend life and death like the Buddha, may we liberate all. We dedicate the merit of the ceremony to our lineage Guru. May he stay healthy, continually turn the Dharma wheel in the Saha world, and may all be auspicious. We invite our souls to perform the overall merit dedication. Wholeheartedly we pay homage to the main deity of Homa, the White Lotus King of Shambhala. Wholeheartedly we pay homage to the main deity of Homa, the White Lotus King of Shambhala. Wholeheartedly pay homage to the main deity of Homa, the White Lotus King of Shambhala. We pray to the White Lotus King to extend the vow bestowing mudra and guide the Bardo spirits to be reborn into the pure Buddha lands. We pray to the Shambhala King, by your Dharma teaching mudra, you liberate all sentient beings. We pray to the King of Shambhala, by your purification mudra, you purify the karma of all beings, the karmic sicknesses, the karma of afflictions, and all karma due to obstructions and hindrances. We pray to the King of Shambhala, the White Lotus King, to bless all participants. May they be endowed with sufficient resources, live in harmony, perfect harmony. May they enhance their wisdom, eradicate their black karma, increase their good karma, and all sicknesses be alleviated, and may they gain improved fortunes. Please bless all participants with good health. May all goes according to wishes, and all calamities transform into auspiciousness, and strong commitment in spiritual cultivation. We pray to the White Lotus King, the King of Shambhala. By Kalachakat mantra, you eradicate all obstructions and disperse all enemies and enmities. May all of our prayers be granted. O gods of the heavens, gods of the earth, may we be far from all calamities, may all calamities abandon us, may all disasters turn into dust, and may all enemies and enmities disperse.
Sato samaya marupanaya pecha sato dero badicha cheto me pawa soto kayo me pawa sopo kayo me pawa anurato me pawa shawa hasiti me porayata sawa karma sutame chitamo sini ren guru hom ha 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 Pangkawan sawa tadhagata pejamami mancha pejapawa mahasamaya sato ahom pei om peja sato samaya marupanaya peja sato tero paricha jejo me pawa soto kayo me pawa sopo kayo me pawa anurato me pawa shawa hasidi me porayata Sawa karma sutame chitamu siniran guru hom ha 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 Pangkawan sawa tadhagata pejamami mancha pejapawa mahasamaya sato ahom pei om peja sato samaya marupanaya peja sato denu padicha jejo me pawa soto kayo me pawa sopo kayo me pawa Anurato me pawa shawa hasidi me porayata sawa karma sutame chitamu siniran guru hom ha 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 Pangkawan sawa tadhagata pejamami mancha pejapawa mahasamaya sato ahom pei
Great Holiness choosing visualization, first to Root Guru and all Buddhas. Visualize for prostration on the ground, release the mudra. Second to all Bodhisattvas. Visualize for prostration on the ground, release the mudra. Third to all Hirukas and Dharma protectors. Visualize for prostration on the ground, release the mudra. Fourth Hepa. Recite completion mantra.
Om bring, om bring, om mari pe mi hom. 请大家起立，恭敬合掌，恭请圣尊生法王座。
Now we are inviting His Holiness to take the Dharma teaching seat. Now please be seated.
让我们以热烈的掌声感谢圣尊主坛这么殊胜珍贵的护摩大法
Now
会。
let's applause to show our utmost gratitude to His Holiness for presiding over this precious Homa ceremony. Now let's join our palms with great reverence, and together we are inviting His Holiness for precious Buddha Dharma teaching. Homage to Master Thupten Dorje, homage to the main deity of Homa from the Shambhala country, the White Lotus King. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Sumu, all Dharma masters, Dharma teachers, Dharma educators, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today, the wife of the Taiwan representative to Sweden, Dharma Sister Judy, the law advisor to Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou, CTI TV Taiwan, the producers for Geni Tensang Shinton, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, and Latin from Malaysia, Li Qing, and the daughter Li Qi, Dr. Lin Su-hua, and from Indiana University, a professor in economy, Dr. Lin, from Chicago, a pain management Dr. Wu, from Chicago Northwest University Medical College, Professor Dr. Zhang Qiang, and from Miaoli in Taiwan, Dr. Hong and family, Dr. Ryan Zhuang and his wife, Sunny Line Dancers, Dharma Sister Lin Yixin, Dharma Sister Cai Meiyue, and Dharma Brother Liang, and Dr. Gao, and from the Tianyin Yayue choir group, Dharma Sisters Gao and Dharma Sister Zhang. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Next Sunday, June 19th, the main deity for Homa would be Amitayus Tathagata, the Buddha of longevity. Would welcome to become the primary supplicants. If you want to have good health and longevity, if you have a long life, you want to be healthy, then you would be free of cares. If you live a long life but unhealthy, then that would be miserable. The Homa today is that of the White Lotus King, which was transmitted the first time in Hong Kong. The ceremony was held the first time in Hong Kong. The first time was held in Hong Kong. As I said before, the Shambhala Pure Land, at Shambhala, most people practice Kalachakra because at the earliest time, Sakyamuni Buddha at the Vulture Peak, he emanated himself to go to South India at the auspicious rice gathering stupa, and in South India, and transmitted the Kalachakra Dharma or Kalachakra Tantra for the Dharma King Yue Xuan. And upon hearing it, the Dharma King Yue Xuan brought it back to Shambhala, Shambhala Pure Land. And from then on, there was Kalachakra in Shambhala. So the first king of Shambhala was the title king, and the second king was the White Lotus King. So the White Lotus King wrote the pith instructions of Kalachakra Tantra, the quintessence of Kalachakra, in the Immaculate Light Treatise. So what does immaculate mean? The sky is immaculate. There is no contamination to it. The sky is far and vast. It's not the sky that we see, a blue sky. So white clouds on the blue sky, or dark clouds, or whatever happens to the sky, the original sky is forever pure, because the sky, the true sky, is never contaminated. So the immaculate or uncontaminated means this. And the light, the clear light, means without contamination. When it is immaculate, there's always clear light. So that's the key meaning of the Immaculate Light Treatise. So the White Lotus King authored the Immaculate Light Treatise. And the White Lotus King is also the White Lotus Youth, or the White Padma Kumara. They're exactly the same. In the most ancient sutra called Mahabharata, India's most ancient sutra, it stated that Shambhala's king, Yue Xuan, received the oral transmission of Kalachakra Tantra from an emanation of Sakyamuni at the auspicious rice gathering stupa. And then the lineage of Kalachakra Tantra was passed down through 25 generations. The first one was the title king, an emanation of Manjusri. The second king was the White Lotus King. and his most well-known works are the Immaculate Light Treatise, which is the Kalachakra Tantra Essence, and the Auspicious Supreme Vows. So White Lotus King wrote several books. And he was the most famous king of the Shambhala kingdom, and his fame radiated throughout the 10 directions. There are many benefits in practicing the White Lotus King, that you can become Padma Kumara, you will be reborn in any Pure Land. That parents and relatives from many lifetimes, this is filial piety, by practicing the White Lotus King Dharma. We have many parents and relatives from many lifetimes because we live many lifetimes, and they all will attain liberation and be reborn in the Buddha lands. That this is quite special. And fourth, one will attain the wisdom of the Tathagata, or the Buddha's wisdom. And this is called Siddhi, or attainment. And the fifth point, if you're reborn in the human world, you will become a great Dharma king with great wisdom, great Prajna Dharma king. And you would be able to exercise transcendental power naturally and subjugate the 4 maras. And the last attainment is the immaculate clear light and self-mastery. So White Lotus King can widely deliver sentient beings, salvage sentient beings, be compassionate towards sentient beings, and generate bodhicitta. So the White Lotus King Dharma is a remarkable Dharma. So that's the introduction of the White Lotus King. And the practice procedure will be announced very fast. It's already on the internet. There's mantra and the look, the appearance, and the mantra recited by the mouth, and the mudra formed. The mudra of White Lotus King is the same as that of Padma Kumara. Yesterday I mentioned one thing. So it's the Sancai youth visiting 53 Mahasiddhas. Did he visit Sukasiddhi? The 27th visit was Poshimini. Was that the same as Sukasiddhi? We're not sure yet. Is Poshimini is Sukasiddhi? So Sukasiddhi should also be a siddha from spiritual cultivation, and Poshimini was also a siddha, an adept. The old witch from Vancouver kept asking Grandmaster, so Virupa could make the 61-year-old Sukasiddhi into a 16-year-old lady. So Grandmaster, do you have this way, this method? Where is this old witch from Vancouver? How old are you? She's not here.
她昨天晚上就回去了。
She went back home last night.
她礼拜天上班了。
She has to work on Sundays.
她一直问我。
She kept asking me
能不能把她变成16岁？
if I could change her into 16.
她一直问这个问题。我讲能够年轻啊。
She asked us
在医学上。
how you can become young is because of the hormone. One ages because the hormones decreases.
就是最年轻的时候。
And when you are at the top of your youth at about 25, the hormone inside your body is at its fullest at 25. And gradually the hormones decrease. And in the 40s, like melatonin, which is the sleep-inducing hormone, would decrease to about half when you reach 40s. However, everybody's body is different. Some people are still young, but they look old. And some people are already old, but they look young. Like the 4 small girls from California, they look youthful. So this is related to the hormone, the term in medical science. And there's another thing is about the qi. So the upper body qi, lower body qi, the life qi, the fire accompanying qi, and the peripheral qi. If all these 5 types of qi are smooth and flowing smoothly inside your body, and your blood and qi are circulating well, then you would look young. But if there's obstructions to the flow of blood and qi, then there would be pain, blockage, would be illness, sicknesses. So Aloha, who came from Hawaii, I don't know her name. I would always call her Aloha. Where is she? She's right there. The first time she met me, she said Genki Aruka in Japanese, and I replied Genki Aru. But if you replied Genki Monai, then that'll be the end of it, because your chi is gone. Genki is like chi, because when you have chi, then you look good, and you have spirits, you're energetic, and you're youthful. Doesn't matter how old you are. You always look youthful and energetic. This is most important. So Genki is the vital energy. When the Japanese write letters, they would write their names in the front. Japanese name is Chunkutsu, sun. In Chinese, it sounds young. What does it mean? Sun. And I don't quite understand. Anyone knows Japanese? Sounds like a Japanese name, but in Chinese it sounds like without underpants. And she changed her name into wearing underpants. It's a joke. But when Japanese write letters at the end, always write that wish you well. So the vital energy represents youth. So with energy and with the hormone. So if you have lots of hormone, then you would look youthful. And if the hormone decreases, then you would age. Like Chen Xuanfang said, at 40s, you start to gain weight. At 50s, that you're at the prime of your middle age. At 60s, your blood pressure is increasing. At 70s, you start to forget, and at 80s you wobbly, and at 90s you forget about everything. At 100 you hang on the wall. But it rhymes in Chinese. So a human being would age and die. That's definite. So it's good enough to extend your lifespan. Last night, the white Tara came to find me, and she sang a song. I could not remember the song. She sang several times in the sky, next to my bed, and I turned my body toward her, and she moved to my back, and she sang again to let me remember the song. But at 70s, I can't remember. When I woke up, I remembered a little bit. That the moon is round and you sleep so sweetly. And the distance between you and I are not far. The first part of the song was like something like that. And the second verse was saying one is in heaven and one is on earth. And yet, all the same, we can get together. The second verse sounds like this. And the third verse, so the gentleman and the goddess is plucking the lute and wishing you a long life. That verse. And she was saying something like, in heaven, I've prepared a divine banquet for you. And the last verse I forgot. And I'll think about it and try to remember it, and then let me see if I can write it. So there are signs if you have yogic response or attainments, like Virupa. For 7 nights in a row, he had signs of attainments.
这里中国史上玄奘大师在印度那兰多寺一戒贤。
Here it was recorded in China history, the great master Xuanzang studied from Silabhadra at Nalanda monastery in India. Let me talk about the great master Xuanzang. And what he mastered studying in India was consciousness only, or Yogacara. And the 2 masters who transmitted that are Vasubandhu and Asanga. So Tianqin or Siqin is the same. And that's Vasubandhu. And Wuzuo is Asanga. They are 2 brothers belonging to the Yogacara school. And they studied from Maitreya and received lineage transmission from Maitreya Bodhisattva. And the great master Xuanzang, after completing his study, he, in order to obtain Pandita position in India, there was the debate that anyone can ask him questions. If you are not beaten by any of the questions, then you would be called a Pandita. But if you could not pass, then you will not become a Pandita. It's like an exam, like a test. There are lots of questions, and there are also oral tests. Several people would stand up and ask you questions. So the great master Xuanzang built a very tall Dharma seat, and then the next another Dharma seat. If there's someone that climbed on the Dharma seat and asked him question and he couldn't answer to that question, then you need to get down from the stage. Then you're not a Pandita, you're not a Siddha. But if you provide the correct answers that satisfy the questioner, then you're Pandita. So the great master Xuanzang built a very tall stupa and sat on it. And there were many Panditas from India asked him questions. According to what I know, that the great master Xuanzang, upon returning to China, was very very majestic, very dramatic. You know, I don't, because in my study I don't know how to pronounce all these Chinese words. They say Guiji, I say Jianji. Isn't that a different thing? Isn't that the one in Japan? You say Kuiji, I can't remember that, but if you say so Xuanzang passed it to Jianji. So Xuanzang built a tall pagoda. And of course he was a Pandita because no one came up and asked him any questions based on what I know. So he built a tall pagoda, and the opponent also built a tall pagoda, and Xuanzang was seated on it from morning till night and falling asleep. But nobody climbed up on the opponent's pagoda to ask him questions. So of course he went back to China with prestige and with awe. That's what I knew. I don't know. Were there anybody debating with him?
没有人跟他辩论的。
Nobody
他
did.
当然是凯旋
Then, of
回当
course,
市长，
she went back to
没
China
有人考他。
with great prestige and awe because nobody tested him. Of course, he was the highest,
陈那一
the
场
great master Xuanzang.
啊，
Hmm?
然后密城的
Where
阿
is
塞
he?
雷传承之可考者，始于毕流波，也就是毕瓦巴。
So, according to Tibetan
至于黎真
legend,
做的印度佛教思
oh,
想概
the
论，
reliable tantric acharya lineage started from Virupa or Biliupo or Pivapa.
印度人是建
And
制成
Virupa and Shantideva both studied at Nalanda Monastery under Jayadeva.
出家以后呢，便到那兰多
So Dharmapala was born into a royal family in Jhansi city in South
那兰多
India.
寺入了
And
那之门，
he went to Nalanda
后
Monastery to become ordained to become a bhikkhu.
那兰多寺的校长。
And according to the Tibetan records, in Nalanda he followed Dignaga and became the abbot of the monastery at his young age when he was only 20.
对外道
And in central India, he also strongly appeased some deviant believers and Hinayana practitioners.
外道都是很不客气
So he was very,
啊。他在做这个住持的时候啊，
he strongly opposed the deviant believers and
为他
Hinayana
门下非常
practitioners.
高徒。
And when he was the abbot of Nalanda Monastery, he received a disciple who was 1 year older than he, named Silabhadra, who became a remarkable disciple of the school. When Dharmapala was 29, due to his health problems, he retired and left Nalanda Monastery to go to Bodh Gaya. And he stayed at the Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya for 3 to 4 years, practicing contemplation and composing or writing. And at 32, he passed away.
不一定是正确，
So this record may not be accurate
因为他画了一个名，
because
变成离家士。32
he
岁以后
changed his
画了
name and became
戒
a
律
yogi.
然后他脱身到
At 32,
里面
he
当
passed,
离家士。
he left the world,
虽然
changed the name, and went deep into the mountains to become a yogi.
实际上是不是还不清楚。
Although, according to the Tibetan legend,
不过他的
he was under the Naga school, in reality it wasn't clear. Having said that, his Dharma teaching were indeed related to Dignagas.
主持那兰
And upon Dharmapala's retirement, Silabhadra succeeded him as the abbot of Nalanda and gave Dharma teachings. And the one succeeded Silabhadra was Jana Prabhu.
多是当住持，
And then Chandrakirti succeeded as the abbot.
也就是吉天，在后来就是吉天当住持。
And then later on, it was Shantideva,
后来那兰多是
who was well versed in all studies inside and outside the school.
护法的后辈之门。
And afterward, he went to Nalanda to become ordained and entered into the monastic life and become a follower in Jayadeva's school.
住持
So Jayadeva was a follower of Dharmapala. So the abbots or the dean of Nalanda, the first one would be Dignaga, second Dharmapala, third Silabhadra, fourth Jana Prabhu, fifth Chandrakirti, sixth Jayadeva, and seventh Shantideva,
这样子，按照黎真所写。
according to Li Zhen.
我昨天有提到什么是唯识。
So yesterday I mentioned what is Yogacara and what is Madhyamaka.
学佛法的一定要认识。
That as Buddhists we need to know what is Yogacara and what is the Dharma of Yogacara. the Dharma is based on the 7 roots: the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, and the root of the mind, or alaya, the 8 consciousness. Because the alaya consciousness, or the Tathagata Garbha, so the Tathagata of the Tathagata Garbha should be discovered from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, the root of mind, and alaya. And then at the 8th consciousness of alaya, there would be the clear light radiance of the Tathagata. When you open the alaya consciousness, then you would be able to see the Buddha. Then you would attain Siddhi. That's based on the Yogacara school. And according Madhyamaka school, according to Yin Xun Dao Si, Nagarjuna, the middle view, and the 12 and the 100 views, and these 3s are considered as the 3 views. And so the 3 view school is studies based on the three views, and Yin Xun Dao Si based on the Madhyamaka school. So what it means is you take away all the sight ways. So you don't go to the left, you don't go to the right, but you go to the side that's not the sight. That's really marvelous and amazing. What we just burned was a kind of penis, but it sounds the same in Chinese, but it's not related. So you don't go to the left, you don't go to the right, you don't go to the center. So what are you relying on is the marvel. So this kind of marvels belongs to the Madhyamaka school. So those, the sect of Madhyamaka, Zhongguan Yinchen Pai. So the Gelugpa or Tibetan Buddhism now is rely on this Madhyamaka Yinchen, that you should have attainment sect. So you don't go to the left, you don't go to the right. So look at Zen Buddhism. You don't think of the good and you don't think of the bad. You don't rely on good nor bad. So at that moment, that's the moment. It's the same in Zen Buddhism. So you don't think of good nor bad. That's the moment. That was spoken by the 6th patriarch Huineng. So this kind of attainment is considered the middle view. So Yogacara is this way, Madhyamaka is that way. That's all just approximation. And there is a sastra, Lu Zhong Lun. Anyone has seen it? It's a very heavy book. It's called Madhyamaka Vatara. And then there are also the three Vataras, the 12 Vataras, the 100 Vataras. So I'm just giving you a concept what Yogacara is about and what Madhyamaka is about. Yes, last night, the first time I played chess with the wife, and the husband said, your qi can turn, but you said your horse can't go. But your power, this is like the Chinese chess, that they can hit so many, and I endure it. And your shoulders can walk backward. It's very special, so I endure it. And your elephant can cross the river. Well, if it's a flying elephant, that's fine. But you use my commander to kill my general. And then you said that's the spy that you sent into my camp. How could I endure that? This is so the wife is always wins. The wife is always the winner, and we are the loser. If you want to be over your wife, then you would know. If you are stronger than your wife, then you would have no food to eat, no more breakfast, no more supper. Then you have to take care of yourself in the kitchen, or else just go to bed. So, man, please just endure it. This is too strong. So many people have differing opinions about Virupa. That's why the history was not accurate. So many of them are not accurate records. This is the problems of the middle-aged group. The position is not high, the salary is not high, but the blood pressure, the blood sugar, and the lipids are high. You know, the job is not protruding, which means it's not remarkable, but the spine is protruding. It's clear for Chinese. Yeah, it's clear for Chinese. That you burn when you cook, but you don't win at mahjongs. It doesn't mean. This is just a joke about middle-aged people. So actually, Indian Buddhist philosophers, there are lots of jokes about them. There's this joke. Dong Zhuo, a character in history, invited the general for drinks and ordered that all the ladies should wear very thin clothes without undergarments, and to show their femininity. But they need to use charcoal to wipe on their breast. And then with the breeze, all the candles were extinguished. So Dong Zhuo asked them to lit the candles again. But then Dong Zhuo discovered that all the guests have black charcoals on their hands. Only the big general Li Bu have a pair of clean hands. So Dong Zhuo was very pleased and wanted to toast Li Bu. But Li Bu laughed happily.
离部的牙齿前面。
But his teeth were all black.
这是笑话啊！这是
This is a joke.
我讲了一句话，我曾经讲了一句话，
I once said,
坦白讲，
this is psychology. This is psychology.
我是这样子认为。
This
我的
is,
观察，从年轻到现在，我的观察，
in my opinion, based on my observations
男
since
人都是猪哥，
young, since I was young, that all
男
men
人都是猪哥，
are
没有
horny.
猪哥的，就是在你
There is no
有修跟
exception.
没有修，
The difference is whether you
你有修的
cultivate or not.
能够自制，
If you cultivate and can control
没有
yourself,
修的，你
if
就
you cultivate, then you can control yourself. If you don't cultivate, you can't control yourself.
所以有修行是有差的。
So there's a difference
因为你有修行，
if you
你
cultivate,
会懂得
because by cultivating spiritually, you would know
很多的戒律，
the precepts, the rules.
你可以控制你自己的身
Then you can control your own body, speech, and mind.
你能够自制，不能够自制的，
But those who cannot control themselves,
就是不能够自制。
then they
有些
can't
人
control
是这样，
themselves.
有些人的体质哦，
Some
你看那个
people,
性侵犯的那种体质，那都是连续性
it's
啊，都是连续。
physiological. So, like, look at the rapists,
那一种体质啊，跟一般人的体质
because
一样，
their
不是很
physiology is slightly different from normal people. They can't control
有些人虽
themselves.
然有戒律，虽然
Some
他知道
people,
佛法很好，
although
也
they
有
know the
但是
precepts,
他也
they
没
know
办
that
法
Buddha Dharma is good, and they cultivate spiritually, but they still can't control themselves. There was a disciple that asked
我
me,
没办法自制。
"But Master, I
那
can't
你没办
control
法自制，
myself."
我说那你求什么呢？
And then what do
自
you
己有没有
ask for?
福可以吃？
Grandmaster, do you
那
have
我
a
有没有
talisman
福可以吃
that I can
可以
take
控制他的
to
这个欲望？
control his desire,
这是你自己要控制的。你学了
his
佛
sex
法，
drive?
知道戒律，
But I
把
said,
经
this
常
is
把
something
戒
that you
律
need to
放在
control
你的
yourselves,
脑海里，
that you have
把戒律放在你的
been
脑海里。
practicing Buddhism, and you need to keep in mind the precepts, and gradually you would be able to control
那
yourself.
你不能自制。
But if you
我
can't
观
control
察我
yourself,
师父给我的所有的福啊，就没有
You
这
know,
种福啊。
I have checked all the foods or talismans transmitted by my guru, but there is no such talisman. Maybe a doctor have an injection or just lock you in.
那个就跟吃毒是一样的，跟毒品
Then it'll be as if you're taking an intoxicant
上了
or
这个
drugs
你就完了。
that when you
啊，欲望也是一样
get。hang up on it, then you're
你
dead.
上了这个
It's the same with
没办法。
desire. Once you get obsessed to it, then you're out of control.
所以有修
addictive.
行，我觉得说我们学佛法的，就是因为有戒律，
So I
才
think
能够
that
产生有
be,
定力。
by practicing Buddhism, you know there are precepts,
有了定，
and by abiding
才能够产生智慧。
by the precepts, you would be able to have stability. Then with stability, you would be able to enhance or generate wisdom. There's a statement,
以前念的一首诗啊，
a poem that I recited. What was it called? Do you remember?
啊，不斩圣贤斩凡夫。啊，美女腰间挂宝剑，
There is
不
a
斩圣
sword
贤斩凡夫。
on the waist of a beautiful
虽然
lady.
未见
not
人头肉，
chopping the head of the sages, it chops the head of
叫你
mundane
按钟
beings.
骨髓哭。
Hmm?
我看了、这个
I missed the
钟
third line.
情仪深色，那个脸呢、就变成三角脸，整个通通下巴都消瘦，身体也弱了。
If you
慢慢的无形
are
之中，
addictive or indulge in this sexual
这个
drive,
精
then
神力通通都
your
够
face would
都不
become
像
triangular and would droop,
你要使
and
我
your spirit and energy would dissipate.
修气脉明点，
You need
修炼到
to
你无肉，
study Buddhism and practice the qi, the channels, the light drops until you become non-leaking. Like Virupa, he must have reached the realm of non-leaking. In Tantrayana, the non-leaking practice is the practice that Virupa had attained in order for him to transform Sukha Siddhi from 61 to 16.
是无肉。
It must have been the non-leaking Dharma practice.
所以这个无肉法，第一个要
So
修
the non-leaking Dharma is something that you have to attain.
佛法很容易的。
So once you attain non-leaking, it's easy to generate or to ignite the inner fire. And once ignited, your blood and qi would circulate
自然
smoothly
能够用你
for
自己
the
的
man,
脾气
and then you
催
use
发
your
对
blood
方
and
的
qi
催发
to
对方的血气
induce
让
or
他的
to
血气也
circulate the blood and qi of
再
the
来呢，
consort,
能够令他这个
and to
产生
let
这个快
her
乐的时候，那个
generate
荷
a
尔蒙
great
从脑海
bliss
里面分泌，
at the time of great bliss, that the hormones would be excreted from the brain to fill the whole body. Only this way a 61-year-old
这个就
would
是
be transformed into a 16-year-old.
啊，
This is the
男
method.
的他能够将他自己充
The
沛的
man
血气
Can use his own
去催发
a
你
full and robust blood and qi to
然后
induce
在大
the
热之
smooth
后
circulation of blood and qi of the lady.
分泌出
And
多
then
巴酚
at great
然后
bliss,
降到你的全身
from her brain, dopamine would be excreted to fill the whole body
61岁
and
16岁
to rejuvenate,
啊，我是
to
跟大家
become
这样
youthful.
讲
So this is the reason why a 61-year-old can become a 16-year-old.
有一个女的晚上睡不着，进来
A woman can't sleep at
叫来一个
night,
道士，
and she
这个女的
called
进
on
来一个道
a
士驱鬼，
Taos,
她讲道
a
大
Taoist
师啊
master
最近实在很奇怪，
to exorcise the ghosts.
那木头的
And she said,
硬生生脆了。
"It's very interesting. I was climbing the stairs and the steps broke down. And then I sat on a chair and the chair broke.
晚上
And the
睡觉的
scariest
时候
one, when I was sleeping at
竟然
night,
塌了，
and the bed too
请
broke.
大师救救我，我
So
好害怕。
Taoist master, please help me. I'm so scared."
掏出桃
And the
木剑
master said,
触
took
动
the walnut wood
剑指着那个女子，大喝：“你
and
傻，
point to her
减肥了。
and shouted loudly, "You silly! You should lose weight."
很多事情都是自己做的，
There are many things that were created by
不是
yourself,
别人害你。
not by others.
同样的，亲爱的，你
Similarly,
觉得我身材
Honey,
怎么样？我说挺好
what do you
的
think of my figure?
你
Pretty
这人
good.
啊，
You're lying.
我的这个密友啊，对我说我没有腰啊，
My secret friend told me that I have no waist.
这么粗的腰他都看不见。
She must have been blind because she can't even see a huge waist like that.
谁做的？自己做的。
Who did it? You did it yourself.
所以很多事情啊，不要去怪别人，不是
So
别人，
please don't blame on
都
others.
不是别人的错，
Lots of
原来
things
就是自己的错。
are not other people's mistake.
很
They
多事
turn
情啊
out
你
to
不
be
要
your own
老是以为
mistakes.
说别人错了，别人错了，是别
So
人的
you
错。
always think that
其实不是
many
自己的
things are
结
other
果的人
people's
应该啊
mistakes. Actually, no. Actually, your
严
own
格的
mistakes.
管制自己，
As Buddhists, you need to be very disciplined toward yourself
宽松的原谅别人。
and very tolerant and forgiving
这个
toward
是一种培养。
others.
我妈的给你。
That's a really nice
非
integrity.
常感谢圣经精彩宝贵的法语开示，请大家把自己坐的椅子别好，放在楼梯的两旁。有靠背的凳子呢，请放在架子上。谢谢大家的合作。恭请圣尊为与会大众做白莲花王法灌顶，含有皈依结缘灌顶。 我们以热烈的掌声感谢圣尊慈悲赐受白莲花王法灌顶。做观想大礼拜，礼拜根本传承上师及十方三世一切诸佛。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三引。二拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三引。三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三引。四平等一起手。护摩法会圆满吉祥结束了，非常感谢根本传承上师的主持，感谢师母诸位上师、教授师、法师、讲师、助教与大家的护持，以及网络直播现场观看的观众，谢谢大家，功德无量。网络直播到此结束，非常感谢大家的收看，阿弥陀佛。We now conclude this live broadcast. Thank you for viewing. 美林祝。